Hey YouTube, and thank you for watching Junkworks Garage. Got one of these little crowbars. They actually work really well. This is a Harbor Freight one. I couldn't find my other one, so I had to go buy another one. Something else I did, kind of did the hockey wrap on this, where you wind up the tape, roll it around, then tape it up. Gives you a little bit more comfort in your hand. So if you're going to be doing this for a while, it kind of takes some of the vibration off and some of the stress off your hands a little bit there. That's something about these pry bars is everybody always kind of jams them in there and starts prying like that. You know, that works well with this side too. But something about these pry bars that a lot of people probably know and some people probably don't. This is for the ones that don't. If you take these, get them on in there, and instead of trying to pry that way, you actually push down on it. See how easy that comes apart there? I'll do another one here. Now, I'm not worrying about completely saving every board because these are pallets and you just aren't going to save every board. Some of them will pull apart, but this seems to, for the most part, so this one's coming in, there it goes. And sometimes they're not quite that easy and you got to go back and forth. When you're working on something and can't quite get a screwdriver on it because there's something in the way up here, you take one of these 1/4 inch ratchets. I happen to actually have one that's even smaller here that's got a nice flat head. And then you want to take and put a 1/4 inch socket on there, and then take your bits that you normally have in these screwdrivers like this, and you'd want to put that down in there. Then you can take the whole thing, get it on your screw in there, and you can loosen it. Not the most easy way to do it, but it's definitely better than trying to strip out a screw here. There we go. So you can see I got it pretty loose now. But anyway, that gives you room in between here. Get underneath there, get on that screw straight, and hopefully not strip it out. Since I'm the only one here, normally I'd plug a lamp into this, and I'd have somebody standing here, and I'd go downstairs and turn off the switches until I figured out which one it is to turn it off, so I don't shock myself. But since I'm alone, I'm going to show you kind of a cool trick on how to do this, because I don't have any, you know, equipment to plug into here and then go downstairs, and I know they have things you can scan and figure out which outlet you're working on and then shut it off. And there it is, just a simple radio turned up as loud as you can turn it without blowing the speakers. And I can go downstairs and I can start switching switches, and when the radio turns off, I know I hit the right switch. You ever had a problem getting a nut on the back end of a bolt because you can't get behind here very well or up underneath here? Well, I can get up through the top here. So what I do is I take this magnet, I think I got it from Walmart, maybe Harbor Freight, just a cheap magnet, put the nut and the washer on there, fish it down through here. It'll probably take a few times. Just carefully try and fish it down in there, and that'll kind of hold it for you just enough that you can stick your bolt in there and kind of carefully get it threaded on there just enough where it'll stay in there. And then I'll fish the wrench down in there and get her tightened on. But swivel heads here, they always get real loose after a while. It doesn't matter what brand you have. I've had a ton of them, from cheap ones to expensive ones, and after a while they always get a little bit wobbly. And when you're reaching down in, especially with one of these, you can't sit there and hold it and try and get it down in there. So what I did, and I'm sure I'm not the only one to ever do it, put some electrical tape, because electrical tape, see, it allows it to kind of swivel still, but you can, you know, pivot that, get it down into where you want, and get it on there, and then yet it'll still swivel. You see that? Can still swivel here. And for like these bigger ones, this little one, you can use just regular electric tape. Even the bigger ones, you could use a regular electric tape. But this, I don't know. I don't know where I got this from, but it's a thicker size, and it's about the right size for that. And also, if you actually even take the tape all the way up, obviously that'll keep you from knocking it off on accident. As you notice, we had a pretty good windstorm, and I lost a tree limb here. And same thing happened in my backyard a couple years ago, and I bought this stuff. It was like a rubberized BandAid, I believe that they called it, for protecting the tree from moisture and more rot and things like that. Anyways, I went to buy some more of that, and it was almost $10 a can. And the last time I ran out of it, and I noticed that it smelled and looked and felt the same as this rubberized undercoating that I had used on some automotive projects I did. So I went and looked at some of that, and it was less than $4 a can for that. So I picked that up, and I went ahead and I used it on the tree here. As far as I know, should work fine. It worked great in the backyard, and that was a couple years ago, and that's all healed up and looks really nice now. So use your own judgment on whether or not you want to use this trick, but it sure is a lot cheaper, and seems to work fine for me. I'm actually showing my daughter how to do this to change her own air filter, because it's going to be her car. She gets to work on it. Anyway, and when she was trying to put this back the way I showed her, she was sitting here like this trying to do it. I got pretty strong fingers, but trying to do it like a jewelry box. The easiest way, especially with some of these are real difficult, is they got like a fat belly on the metal part right here. If you actually push on that, that actually spreads it out, pushes it on much easier. So as you can see, the threads are kind of all bunged up there. Clean that up a little bit. And if you see here, I put a nut on here so that when we come up with this nut here, it'll actually chase the threads for you so you can get it off and on. See how it's kind of hard right now? So putting one on would be really difficult if I hadn't have done that. Take this, bring it off of there, and as you can see, it came off, and hopefully it should go back on again. It's a little stiff, but it'll definitely go on there. So anyway, that's the easy way of chasing your threads after you cut a nut or cut a bolt, and works real well. I spent a lot of years as a carpenter's helper, basically meaning I packed a lot of wood on my back and pulled a lot of nails out of boards. One of the tricks I learned from doing that is when you're pulling on some pretty stuck cold hard nails, it's pretty difficult. So if you turn your hammer sideways here and just turn it side, get that on there, to side, to side, that takes it out real easy. So that's about the easiest way you can pull a tough nail out of something. I'm doing these Ranger bands. I use these quite a bit for lots of different things. Definitely not the first one to figure this one out, but basically you take your mountain bike inner tube, or you can use a 10-speed, whatever you got. You can actually even use larger old style tractor tire inner tubes. I'm not sure if that's what this is, but it's something similar to that. But you can cut them up and make big giant hold downs. That's what I use these for a lot, is my ratchet straps. I get tired of them being slung out all over the place. That's obviously a huge one. I also got this bag here full of ratchet straps, and as you can see, I can pull them out, use them, put them back, tie them up. They don't get all tangled together, and I love that. I'll let you have a closer look. See, I just wrap them up. There's the Ranger band, goes right over the top of it. Works great. Real easy to make. You start out with a big full-size inner tube, cut it in half, and you got a big long inner tube. See, this is a piece that's off of another one. All you have to do, depending on your size, if you really want them fairly stretchy, make them pretty thin. If you want to have, something that doesn't have to be quite as stretchy, but it needs to be a lot stronger, you want a little bit thicker, because these will break. When you first start getting them going here, you want to take them and you want to kind of pull them apart. You want to get them warmed up. Just the friction alone will kind of warm them up. They really don't work as well when they're in the cold weather until you've done something like this. Get them stretched out, and then you just take them. I'll grab one of these. Take them, put them over the top of your straps here, and that holds them fine. My daughter even uses them for her hair. I use these gloves quite often. They're obviously just cheap Harbor Freight ones, but if you look at mechanics gloves, they look almost identical the way they're made. But besides that point, storing them and making sure you always can find too. It's a little thing that I've always done with these that have Velcro on them for as long as I can remember. If you take it, you actually put them one in front of the other. Take this one, put that on that one. This is from the back glove here. Put this, see, that's from the back glove. Put that one on top of that one. Then Velcro it here. And peel this off. Fold this one back. Velcro it to the one in the back. See? That way they kind of stay flat and they don't fall apart. You don't lose one and can only find one at a time. So just a little simple trick. I'm working underneath my truck putting this hoist in here, and if you look on my channel you'll see me installing this. But anyway, I thought I'd show this. I don't have anybody to hold this wrench up here, so what I did is put one of these welding magnets on the bolt here in between the wrench, and then when I go to tighten it, it'll hit against here, and this will kind of hold it on there until the pressure will finally just hold it against there. Anyway, so that's just a simple way, if you don't have another hand to help, to holding the wrench. Alright. Thanks for watching Junkworks Garage, where I'm proud to say I'm a jack of all and master of none. You all have a good one.